You know how you can talk about the same thing with your bestie a million times and still find new things to say?
Or how sometimes all you need is a voice note from your bestie?
Welcome to the Normal Mini-Mess,
where we deliver a little normal mess from a previous episode.
It's the Normal Mini-Mess.
Nailed it.
Let's jump into other people's opinions because one of the big reasons that it took me a year to take the plunge on this major hair chop is because of other people's opinions and my fear of other people's opinions. Okay, and I also need to put out a disclaimer. I recognize this topic is going to be, we're going to discuss this in the context of a freaking haircut, which matters nothing in the grand scheme of the world. But this is a very innocent symptom, like an example of me struggling with this topic that I think is the safest for us to talk about on a podcast. So just take all the things that we're going to say right now and apply it to also more important things too, more important things in your life or in our lives. Just know that I can recognize a haircut doesn't matter squat. I get that. I totally get that in the grand scheme of life. So bear with us as we silly ourselves through this conversation. Okay. I worried a lot about what other people would think getting my haircut and the timing of it. I worried that because I was getting close to 40 when I started thinking about it, that people would be like, oh, she's going through a midlife crisis. Or people would think that I'm like a mom that's just like let myself go and I'm not willing to put the time in anymore to like take care of myself or like put the 40 minutes into my hair or whatever it was. I don't know. And it's stupid. Like what? These aren't things that other people have said to me. These are things that I make up in my mind that are not real. They're imagined other people's opinions. How ridiculous is that?
It's not ridiculous. It's human.
Because here's the deal. You and I would see any woman cut her hair, and not even for a split second would I think either of those things about her.
Right.
I don't think those things about other people, so why do I imagine that other people would think them about me?
Well, this kind of touches on, you remember how we've talked about like the way that we talk to ourselves is different and worse than how we talk to other people, you know? It's like when we've talked about needing to take a rest or take a break. If you came to me, if you called me and you were like, I am feeling overwhelmed and exhausted and I just need to take a nap or go away from my children and my professional responsibilities for a little while to reset, I would be like, Casey, you have to take that time. You're human. You need to honor that part of yourself. Go take a rest. But internally, if I feel those things, what I say to myself is, you lazy son of a bitch, get back in there. What are you doing? You suck. Right?
How dare you slack off?
How dare you? Everybody sees how much of a failure you are. You're a terrible mother. Get back in there. What is that?
No one thinks that about you. And we would never think that about someone else. So why do we think that about ourselves?
We are assholes to ourselves. And that dichotomy between how we treat and how we speak to ourselves versus how we treat and speak to other people is so crazy to me, because we should be the most honest with and forgiving of ourselves. And yet we give everyone else in the universe way more grace than we give ourselves. And the lie that what we tell ourselves other people are thinking or saying about us is not real. That's a lie.
It is a lie. It's an imaginary story that we make up in our mind. Okay. I've been going through a lot of personal growth Just
Love that.
like reflected in the haircut. But one of the things that I'm learning a lot about lately is attachment as children to our caregivers. And a lot about it is the context of my children's attachment to me and the way that I react can impact that. And as a child, just biologically, my understanding is all we crave is to be loved and accepted, because acceptance in a group and by a caregiver equals survival when you're tiny. Right. And so I think there is a part of it, just human conditioning. And there's got to be a neuroscience element to it of the way the brain operates out of fear of not being accepted. Because as a young child, if you're not accepted, well, you know, in caveman days, if you're not accepted in your community, you can't survive. So you have to be. And so I think there is some early wiring that happens towards caring what other people think because you want to be accepted. But what I don't understand is how that is perpetuated to being 40 years old and projecting this imaginary story that someone's going to think that I went through a midlife crisis.
So I Googled.
Of course you did. I love this. Okay, go.
I Googled.
Tell me.
And I'm not a neuroscientist. All right. Let's just clarify in case there was anyone listening thinking, Ashley's got to be a neuroscientist. Guys, I am not. I am a Googler. All right. So that's not me. I cannot address this with any level of expertise, but I can report back what I learned from the Google. And it is fascinating. What you just said about children and seeking validation and connection and reinforcement from their caregivers is absolutely true, but it carries beyond that into adulthood. And from what I found on the interwebs, again, not
tell us everything.
Actual course of studies, here is what I learned. So there was a team of researchers from University College London and Aarhus University in Denmark. I'm sorry, I'm not Danish. Aarhus. No, it is not our house. It's Aarhus.
Okay, got it.
Aarhus. Aarhus.
Sounds perfect to me.
Yep. Uncovered clues to explain why we care what other people think. Okay, so they published their research in the journal Current Biology. This is as of 2010. So probably some more things have happened since then, and maybe an actual neuroscientist will update us. All right. But this is what they learned: that the area of our brains associated with reward is more active when others agree with and reinforce our own opinions. So our brains, and it's sort of this cyclical response from what I've gathered online, where our brains light up when we are informed that other people agree with us or accept our opinions. Our brains light up, and then it also feeds us like a hit of dopamine. It feels good, and we seek that out. And interestingly, some people's brains, it appears, are more wired to be more highly responsive to that type of stimulus than other people's brains, which might indicate that some people are more naturally inclined to seek validation in that way and to be more driven by validation and to experience that level of positive response when we are informed that other people's opinions align with or reinforce our own.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is very
So I want to know
crazy.
what's going on in your brain. Thanks for joining us for the Normal Mini Mess. If this conversation resonated with you and your mess, tell a friend or, 500.
If you'd like the full conversation, you can find the complete episode wherever you listen to podcasts. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at thenormalmess, or email us at thenormalmess@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.